Today we're going to be talking about low-carb keto diet results before and after for men over 50. And I'm going to show you guys a case study of a man named Chris Cornell who has an incredible transformation based mainly on the low-carb keto lifestyle and weightlifting. Now, I don't know if there's going to be an audience for this type of review or discussion on YouTube, but I wanted to see some content in this space that doesn't rely on ad hominem attacks or moralizing this guy's diet decisions and criticizing him just on the basis of not being vegan. So I'm gonna do this video and share my thoughts, and it's just gonna be open from the heart, because really when you see a transformation like this, in some ways it begs more questions than it answers. And what matters to me in conveying this case study to you guys is whether or not this represents obtainable and reproducible results, expectations that other men over the age of 50 might have and be able to obtain these results were they to duplicate this guy's lifestyle. That's really the question, is can this be reproduced, or is this a miracle? And that's what I don't know, but I want to share my thoughts with you guys on this video. So I started following Chris Cornell a while ago. Typical low-carb pushback type account where he criticizes organizations like the dietary guidelines or Kellogg's or sodas and these types of things. And I see this stuff on Twitter a lot of times. You see the same few people from the low-carb community push back on the same popular tweets that break out and get some traction. And so you start to follow these people and see what they're about. And this is one guy who I really couldn't place it as to what his story was, and I started looking into it, and I realized this is incredible, because this guy came from a background of not being an athlete. And so when you see his before pictures, you can see that in 2015 he was really overweight, doesn't appear to be athletic at all. So I'm not going to be able to say with certainty, but it looks like the guy didn't exercise. And then you fast forward a few years into his after pictures, and this guy's lean and has a ton of muscle on his body for being over 50 and coming from a background of being a non-athlete. So I'm looking at that and I'm like, wow, I mean, that's the kind of results that most guys over 50 would be willing to bet the farm on and go all in over. If you can reproduce that, like, that's something you go all in over. So if it's diet and lifestyle choices that are healthy and reproducibly create these results, then that's very convincing. And that's why I had to be a little bit skeptical about this transformation. So I'm not here to criticize this guy and say that he's a fake natty, because I don't know what his background is on that type of use, those substances. So I just wanted to ask him and see what he said, because I found that a lot of people like this are open to talk about these things. So back in January, I asked him, I said, hey man, have you used HRT or testosterone? Like, how did you get these results, man? And he ignored my tweet. And then I forgot about it, but then time goes on, and I see this guy in my feed again, and he's doing these these really incredible before and after photos. And I'm like, why don't I ask him again, man? Maybe I'll bring it up. Like, hey, I asked you about this. You didn't respond to me, man. Like, what's up? What's your story? What's going on with that? And so this time he actually did respond, and he did. The way he worded it was kind of interesting. He said that he was not on any of the substances that I named. So I guess that means that he's not using hormone replacement therapy or testosterone. I don't know that he would have been on anything else. He didn't really go into detail to answer that question in finality. But when I think about this, it makes me wonder what is going on here. I'm a little bit confused when I see responses like this. And one of the things that I started digging back into this guy's feed and seeing what he's up to. And I'm like, wow, this is even more incredible than I thought, because it's not like the guy just was overweight, not as an athlete, and then comes back in his late 50s with this impressive physique, a lot of muscle mass and lean body. I'm looking through his feed and I can see that 2 years ago he rang the bell at Sloan Kettering, which is what you do when you finish treatment for cancer. So this guy beat cancer, and if you look at his photo when he beat cancer, looks like he's underweight, and this was only 2 years ago. So in a span of maybe 6 years, this guy went from obese to 2 years ago being like underweight and battling for his life with cancer, going through chemo and all that. And then within 2 years, he's packed on a ton of muscle after 50, and he's lean. So it's not like he just bulked up. This dude like lean bulked after 50. Lean bulked after 50. And it's like, well, what do you do, man? Like, how'd you pull this off? And obviously the guy does weight training, but then if you get into his feed, it's mostly pictures of him eating bacon and eggs, eating cheeseburger, like cheeseburger bowl, like basically a bunless burger, and a lot of salmon. Guy eats a lot of salmon. And so I'm looking at him like it's the low carb keto transformation guy. And he is basically building a brand. So whether or not you want to acknowledge that the man is building a brand, doesn't matter how you feel about that. Because when you start an email server list and you're gathering clientele and you're pumping your message out to like a specific community, you are building a brand. And his Twitter handle is Biggest Comeback. So I imagine that however he finalizes his branding will probably have something to do with that. But basically what the guy is doing is building a brand. And the basis of that brand is the low carb keto lifestyle. And as evidence for its working, provides his transformation, which is incredible. In fact, I would say that a transformation such as this is almost a miracle. Now, miracles happen, and there are people who are very determined in life to overcome adversity and hardships with their health. So you can never underestimate someone. But when I saw this, I'm like looking at the guy's vascularity, and I'm looking at his results, and I'm like, man, this is a miracle. But are these expectations reasonable that men over 50 can get results like this? I start thinking about my life and my experience, and I have lots of friends over 50 at one of the gyms that I work out, because it's in an upper middle class neighborhood where a lot of guys who are either doing very well in life or are retired go there and work out. And I start thinking about most of the guys that I know that are in that like 55 plus to 65 range, 50 to like 65 range. And very few of those guys have this physique or have this type of results, period. Very few of them do. And I know guys that work out there a lot, like 5 days a week. And I started thinking about it, and there's one guy that I know that has a comparable physique, but this guy is a lifelong athlete, and he's in the College Sports Hall of Fame for baseball from Youngstown State. So this is the guy that I know personally who has a physique like this guy, like that much muscle on his body, is in the College Sports Hall of Fame for baseball. And this is a guy who does two-a-days and would give you a guilty look if he missed one of the workouts on his two-a-days because he played tennis with his son for 2 hours at like 8 a.m. in the morning. You know, that's the kind of guy that we're talking about. So when I see people that are over 50 that have these kind of results, it's normally people who have been lifelong athletes, who have been on top of diet and exercise for decades and have that momentum. So this is the way I think about it, guys, is that it's easier to maintain health momentum, and you're always maintaining muscle mass, trying to build muscle, and you're just kind of steadily staying on a good, your health is always kind of going up. Whereas when you hit a roadblock in life and you end up getting cancer and have to do chemo or something that just knocks you all the way back out of whatever grind you were in, it's so much harder to get momentum back once it's lost. and ask me how I know. And so the bottom line is, to see a transformation like this is a miracle. You know, if the guy had lost some weight and survived the chemo, that's like, you know, the best case scenario for most people. But to come back and really just show up with a like a mature athlete's physique after 2 years of working out, I mean, that's incredible. That's incredible. And so, hey man, I'm not criticizing you. I mean, sometimes when you see something that you don't fully understand, the best thing to do is acknowledge that it's amazing and share it with other people. So I'm not talking down on the dude's name. I just am not sure that these results are reasonable expectations for men over 50 that are like, hey, I'm trying to make some changes in my diet and lifestyle. You know, what do I want to do? Do I want to go this plant-based route? Do I want to go this keto route? And it's kind of a trap where online you get these people who promote certain ideas, and they'll show things that are highly attractive to people's taste buds. So maybe it's, in this guy's case, it's like a low carb bun, bacon, egg, cheese sandwich. And so it looks like almost exactly like what you would get at Hardee's. Like it's like, it mimics that fast food fix, like that Hardee's bacon, egg, and cheese thing. Only it's a different bun. It's not that biscuit, different bun, but it looks so much like that trigger food that is the American fast food fix, you know? You show a picture like that, and then you're like, well, look, I this is what I have. And, you know, by the way, like, I'm shredded and jacked over 50, and I did this in 2 years. And I don't know that that's reproducible. Maybe just determination and hard work is what's behind it. But man, I just had to share my feelings on this. Like, my thoughts and opinions on this discussion are sort of aimed at the fact that I have family members now who are reaching points in their life where they're trying to make changes. And it's like, they go online and see stuff like this, and they're like, yeah, I'm thinking about doing keto now. And I'm like, whoa, you know, I want to be able to support you, but what are your expectations here? And then, you know, maybe I'm gonna have to do some more videos and follow up on some of the stuff that's going on, like personally in my life, that I've seen that has made me think that these expectations aren't reasonable. I feel like I've said a lot on this topic, but I wanted to do it without attacking the dude personally. Like, nothing wrong with what he's doing. I mean, it's a great marketing strategy for getting people to pay attention to your lifestyle, your amazing comeback. You know, maybe you want to let people know, like, hey, I made it. I'm alive, and I did it eating, you know, hamburger bowls and stuff. That's incredible, man. I'll share this platform in a way that gives you some light so people could talk about this more. Like, maybe we need to talk about stuff like this more. So that, you know, if this is something that is everybody doing this now, like, show me the people that are doing this. And if you start looking online, you realize it's like, man, it's like 15 or 20 people in the whole world that are pumping this and talk like this is how they did it. It's like this guy, Dr. Tro, a couple other guys. And you're like, oh, you know, I'm pretty sure that if lots more people were doing this, we would see a lot more results like this. You know, maybe it doesn't work for everybody, but it's hard to address topics like this because the bottom line is people are making these decisions based on the results that they perceive other people are getting. And so when I see results like this, I share it. I'm not running away from results like this when I see it. I'm gonna share it with y'all, get your opinions on it. So let me know y'all's opinions in the comments down below. All right, y'all know what time it is. Red Pill Vegan. Next.